Yeah.
Jessica, going back to Harry's, and they famously made that pivot from digitally native only e-commerce to first Target and then expanding elsewhere.
Yep.
What were some of the main challenges or learning that Harry's learned when it came from transitioning to e-commerce only to omnichannel?
I think just we were super excited to expand, and I think we did it very quickly. And I think as the former revenue recovery manager, I think we paid a price, honestly, from a supply chain perspective. I think just not knowing how much we were going to need to fulfill specific retailers or how long our lead times were going to be, and really trying to understand the compliance and the complexity of the logistics side of the business. I think we were happy to do it and we did it successfully from a business perspective. But I think some of that effects of the supply chain compliance hit us later on, which we learned quickly that, they're going to hold you to a higher standard, obviously, on the retail side. So, the on time and in full of the Walmarts of the world, and understanding that there is a level that they expect you to perform in the supply chain world. And that if you don't, you're literally going to pay that, and it's going to impact your P&L overall for your business. So I think that was a little bit tough for us. And obviously from a supply planning perspective, making sure that we are at an optimal inventory position. And if that made sense to each retailer specifically and how we were going to do that. So I think that's probably for me, my main takeaway from it is just making sure we had enough inventory. If we're going to be standing for a product and really putting that out there in the market, that we were actually going to be able to fulfill the demand that was there across the retailer base, as well as just not being afraid to take risks, I think, from a product perspective as well. Just going back to what we were discussing before, like not every product that's your bread and butter on your website on the D2C side is going to be the same on the Walmart and Target side. And that's okay. I think that's the big learnings that we should be comfortable with in the beginning when we're launching is who is that customer and how do we learn who they are and how do we serve them in a different way than maybe that D2C customer. So just taking that away and really being okay and comfortable with who that customer is, like who is my target customer, and they may not want the same razor that we're selling on the website. Okay, cool. Let's create something else for them and let them know that we're there for them in a different way than we would be on the D2C side.
Yeah, as you were sharing that, I could think of a few companies that I've worked with where they were so excited to get into retail and things didn't go exactly the way they thought to. Either the retailer didn't order enough and then was reordering too much or things like that. But when you have a situation where the answer is to throw money at the problem and you've got somebody there and who's anxious to take your money, that could be a recipe for disaster.